but let's talk about a huge surprise right there out of Houston. Right there at a good old heart of America, Houston, Texas. Guys, the Texans have released safety CJ Gardner-Johnson just 3 weeks into this NFL season. That's right. The same CJ Gardner-Johnson that they traded for back in March, sending away a 2022 first-round pick, Kenyon Gray, to the Philadelphia Eagles. The idea was to bring in a proven ball hawk, a guy who had 6 interceptions last season on the Super Bowl run with Philly. Instead, he has turned into a complete disaster. In just 3 starts with the Houston Texans, guys, CJ Gardner-Johnson posted 15 tackles. Not one interception, not one pass breakup, and a whole lot of blown coverages. Coach DeMarco Ryans has been preaching communication in that secondary all season long, and honestly, it's been one of the biggest issues. Ryans flat out admitted it. When you see a big play that happens on our defense, somewhere along the lines of bust in communication. It happens. Guess who is in the middle of those busts more often than not? CJ Gardner-Johnson. Guys, let's break it down week by week. The blow-in coverages by CJ. Week number 1 against the LA Rams. The Houston Texans lose 14-9. Pretty close game, right? Matthew Stafford finds Davis Allen in the corner of the end zone to win the game. That's Gardner-Johnson Jr.'s Gardner-Johnson's man. He bites on the wrong coverage, and corner Lester tries to clean it up, but it's a little too late. Touchdown Rams. Lose the game. Week number 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Houston Texans lose 20-19. They're in cover 2. Gardner-Johnson is responsible for the deep right half of the field. Instead of staying disciplined, he jumps a 10-yard route. Baker Mayfield immediately attacks a deep ball. Touchdown, Ryan Miller. Another game lost because of one bad decision. Now, week 3. Tied late in the fourth quarter. It's 10-10. CJ Gardner-Johnson is supposed to cover anything over the middle. Instead, he jumps an out route. Trevor Lawrence hits Brian Thomas on a 46-yard bomb. Jacksonville scores a play later. Texans lose 17-10. 3 straight weeks, 3 straight losses, 3 straight blown coverages. And each one of those is connected to CJ Gardner-Johnson not doing his job. And look, I get it. Mistakes happen. I'm a defensive coordinator. Mistakes happen every single play, but here's the kicker. Sources inside that locker room say CJ Gardner-Johnson never took any accountability. Instead of owning up, he was pointing fingers. Nothing rubs teammates the wrong way more than a guy who messes up, causes in the game, and act like it's somebody else's fault. So now the Texans are sitting at 0-3. Same as the Titans, who lost a host on Sunday, right? Both teams desperate for the first win. Houston clearly decided they'd rather move on without CJ Gardner-Johnson than keep letting him drag down their secondary. Guys, here is my take. I get why the Texans made the move. You can't let one player poison the communication, the trust, and the accountability of your defense. But I'm going to get real with you. Trading away Kenyon Green for a rental that lasted 3 games is a brutal look in the front office. If they don't find a way to get a win column soon, that move is going to sting even more. But here's a question for you guys. Did the Texans make the right move, make the right decision of releasing CJ Gardner-Johnson this early? Or should they have given it a little bit more time to figure it out? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here on YouTube.com. Now, this is a live interactive show, so comment down below and let's hear your thoughts. DMV says, do you think CJ Gardner-Johnson returns to Philly? I'm going to say absolutely no. Absolutely no. There's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles were so willing to just part ways with him after a great Super Bowl run. CJ Gardner-Johnson does have talent, but there's also a reason why he's been on 3 teams in 3 years and just got cut by the Houston Texans, and nobody is gathering interest around him. When it's always somebody else's fault, never your fault, it's time to look into the mirror, right? It's time to look into the mirror. This person did it. This person did it. This person did it. This person did it. This team didn't want me. This team didn't want me. This team doesn't want me. Look at the mirror. The Philadelphia Eagles right now are arguably the best team in the NFC. When we do power rankings in here in just a minute, you are going to see that the Philadelphia Eagles are arguably the best team in the NFC. They don't need help on defense. They don't need help on offense. All they need to do is mind their P's and Q's, cross their T's, dot their I's, and show up to work every day, and they'll be just fine. He is a cancer in the locker room. He needs to check his ego until, if he ever wants to get on the team ever again. So I am with you. I hope he doesn't go back to the Eagles just to open other players' eyes a little bit. Like, hey, if you're an egotistical asshole, there's no spot for you in the NFL, no matter how good you are. And arguably right now, you can say right now he's not playing very well football. 15 tackles, 0 pass breakups, 0 interceptions. That's not a very good look. Now you can say stats lie to you, teams are throwing the other way, yada, yada, yada. Clearly they're not. They're attacking him down the middle of the field. They're attacking him in the corners. They know he wants to get the interception, pump fake it and get deep. It is what it is. Old Man River, says he doesn't want CJ Gardner-Johnson to go back to the Eagles either. Old Man River, are you suggesting that CJGC goes to the Las Vegas Raiders? Is that what I'm am I reading between the lines a little too much there? You want him to come to your team and make your team even more of a disaster? Because when you, guys, there's going to be a trend today. Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, CJ Gardner-Johnson. There's going to be a trend of these players that we talk about today. There's a reason why they would only fit on a Super Bowl caliber team. There's a reason why when if a team decides to pick him up, it is going to be a need, not a want. Yeah, we could use you, but we don't need you. We're perfectly fine where we're at. So if a team were to pick up a CJ Gardner-Johnson, it would be a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, honestly. It would be a team like potentially the Detroit Lions. Go back there, right? Let's just be clear. I don't think any of those teams decide to pick him up. Let's just be honest. But at the same time, those are going to be the teams that even should entertain the idea, right? That should even entertain the idea. Is a Super Bowl caliber team, so his ego can get put in check. Alpha Rob says, they're trying to build up a Super Bowl in another country. If they do that, Alpha Rob, I swear to God, I'll kick you straight in the throat. If the Super Bowl is played in European, actually, I don't really care. Send the Super Bowl over there. I don't care. I'm never going to be able to afford to go to the Super Bowl. Whatever, send it over there. Old Man River says, CJ Gardner-Johnson is simply put is a head case. He's not a head case. He's an ego-filled asshole, what it comes down to. That is exactly what it comes down to. He's an ego-filled asshole. And Alpha Rob says maybe he wanted to get out of Houston. Potentially. When you go from a Super Bowl caliber team and into a team like the Houston Texans that is dog shit bad, potentially, yes. And we heard his post-game, we've heard his interviews, right? We've heard interviews of him saying, "Oh, I'm so sad that the Eagles and I broke up. I'm so sad that they didn't want me, whatever." Potentially. But you would think if he wanted out of Houston, he would have probably gathered up some interest before saying, "Hey, I want out." Reaching out to a couple of his buddies. Like, "Hey, man, I see you guys are 2-1 here. You guys think you need a safety?" Like you have to plant seeds before you knock down the cornfield. You know what I'm saying? Wes is in the chat. What's up, Wes? He says CJ is a crybaby. But yet you want CJ back in New Orleans, don't you? Wes is a Saints fan. And guess what, guys? Alvin Kamara is going to the Kansas City Chiefs. So stay tuned for that. We talk about that a little bit of factor crap later on tonight. Old Man River says, as me player, not a team player. He's a me player, not a team player. Let's just be honest, though, Old Man River. Name me a good secondary player that doesn't have an ego. Let me play devil's advocate. Let me play both sides of the fence here. Name me one good defensive player that has never had that me attitude. I'll wait. Are you going to say potentially Troy Polamalu, or are you going to go back to even like the 50s or like 60s, right? Because I know you're old man, River. I know you're going to go back into the old knowledge bank back in the 60s and 70s. There was a guy by the name of Bob Jimmy Smith that he was not an ego case, but he was definitely the player's player. He was out there doing his thing. Any modern player from 2000 on, 2005 on, the last 20 years, name me one defensive secondary player that was elite that didn't have a me attitude. Here we go. Jack Tatum, Ryan Lott, Lawrence Taylor. I said the last 20 years. 2025 or 2005 on. Lawrence Taylor played what, in the 80s, 70s, whatever it was? Ronnie Lott played in the 80s. Jack Tatum, I don't even know who Jack Tatum is. Steve Atwater. Once again, that's the 90s. We didn't have egos back in the day. We didn't have these I'm better than you type of situation days, right? Like, seriously. Steve Atwater, Ronnie, and let's be honest, Lawrence Taylor wasn't a secondary player, but he had the biggest of the biggest ego out of all of them. I'm telling you, any top 10, top 15 secondary player right now in the NFL is going to have the me attitude. Now, just because you have the me attitude doesn't mean that you are not a team player either. But when you have the me attitude and fuck everybody else type of situation, then we have a problem. Google Tatum. Get out of here. Wes says, I will take